and welcome to this week's episode of Focus on the Fun Stuff. I'm your host, Emma Mills, and I'm coming at you for, I think, the first time ever since we transitioned to the podcast from my TV, from my office. If you knew the jiggery-pokery that has gone on behind this screen to make this happen without a videographer, it would look, I'm sure, less than perfect. But as Daniel Priestley says, and I should probably be on a commission structure with him by now, prolific beats perfect. And I'm going solo today because I think there's a lot going on at the moment. I think, like, goodness, in terms of, I've had my business for 17 years. So I started it I went self-employed in 2008. I started it in a recession. Not that I particularly knew that at the time. I think I was just so naive. I didn't even realize that was a tricky thing. Recessions, pandemics, obviously, and that went on for a million years. And I just think this period of time now, there is so much happening. And it's a period of time where I can't imagine there aren't many business owners who aren't thinking, where's my business going? How's AI going to disrupt it? What opportunities do I have? I want to grab onto it now. You know, we're all being told now is the time to embrace AI because those who do are going to leave you behind. There's going to be a lot of distraction for entrepreneurs. You know, everybody's dreaming of, well, I am not, I will have to say, dreaming of this, but lots of people are dreaming of one person, sat on their own in an office with 100 AI agents, you know, creating a unicorn company or creating a multi-million-pound business. And there's just a lot to consider about, and none of us have crystal balls, so a lot of everybody's predictions, you know, well, it's all ultimately predictions. But we do know it's changing things already. We do know we can get more done. We do know there's a lot of opportunity. We do know that in a lot of industries that they're going to be disrupted, that you could disrupt them, that you could now be a SaaS tech business, like using Replit like that, or using, you know, coding with an LLM. Like, we know that there's actually so many opportunities. But that's on top of us already having our existing business, which has the challenges, which has the distractions, which has the team, which has all the customers and the problems that come with everything and the things to solve. And we already had our existing plan to grow it. And now we're having to consider a whole new realm of how do I make the most of this. I feel like that's a lot of everybody's energy. It's either kind of 50-50. It's either this is terrible for my business, or it's mainly, I know there's an opportunity there. How do I grab hold of it? And I think the absolute superpower that any of us can have in 2025 and beyond, and especially, I mean, it has to be that 2026, 2027 are like absolute, you know, on the J curve, like the trajectory of the impact AI has is going to start to go off a scale. And I do think the superpower that any of us can have is not to try and consider every single thing, but to be uber focused. And I think the big superpower now, and this whole episode was inspired by Nigel Bottrell. Sorry, mention him again. But I should have that game where every time I mention Nigel or Daniel, I take a shot. But that would make for an interesting episode, I'm sure. I do think we're in this age now where the absolute superpower is to stay super focused on the plan you've made and the trajectory. And that's not to say to ignore all the things that are happening. It's about picking the right things. But, you know, I was at the National Entrepreneurs Convention that Nigel Bottrell runs every year. It's amazing if you haven't been. But that one of his first slides on the first day was that the gap now between focused entrepreneurs and distracted entrepreneurs and what they are able to create and deliver and the kind of lives they're able to live is bigger than ever, because ultimately distraction, I mean, we are in ultimate distraction time, because not only have we got our phones, can't pick it up right now because it's filming me, we've got our phones, which in the UK on average, we pick up every 12 minutes. So if a business owner is picking up every 12 minutes to run their business from it. But on top of that, inside that, and a business owner won't just be checking, you know, Instagram and Facebook, though I'm sure we do. But it's also on top of that, we've got all of the reactive priorities, DMs, problems, complaints, fires that we have to put out all the time. And then on top of that, we're very aware that there's a lot of change and things happening. And what do we do about it? Like, what do we try? I left the convention and I didn't even get to see all the speakers because we were exhibiting, and I'm going to watch them later. But even the ones that I have watched, I already left with a full page of notes, and I've got a list of new software, new things to try in marketing, in the business, things that I like. There's already a lot there. And I think so many of us, we're already predisposed to shiny object syndrome as entrepreneurs. It's like, well, now there literally isn't enough hours in the day. And it's not about enough hours in the day. It's about like knowing what is most important, like, because we can all, and also we're all complete starter, we like to start things but not finish them. So we've got all of these ideas that we might do a little bit on, or a little bit that we try on, and then, but it still had no impact because we haven't finished the bloody thing. So the thing that Nigel said at the beginning, that like, I'd almost got enough value from that, because I think it's like the key to everything. Being focused or distracted for me is right at the top of the tree of impact in the life you want to create, how you win the week, the goals that you achieve. And that's what I wanted to talk about today, because with the business that I have, I see and speak to business owners all of the time. And I see that via the very nature of who we are and how we like to operate and how we come up with new ideas and the things that we do, actually being able to be focused is by far, I think, one of the hardest things for business owners to do properly. And probably one of the biggest hacks or ways for a business owner to get help is to get super focused on the time, because it goes back to the fact that we all have the same amount of time, we all have the same number of hours in the day. How we deal with them completely dictates our outcome of where we're going. How we treat that hour, what we get done inside that hour, how intentional we are inside that hour is the difference between having the profit that you want, having the goals hit, having the things that the life that you ultimately dream about for the reason that you created your business. It's the difference between. And you might think, oh, she's banging on about time management again. But it's about for me, it is the difference. It is the difference. The convention that I'm talking about, those that will leave that event and in 12 months' time have tangible outcomes, outputs, forward movement in their business because of things they've done and implemented, will be the percentage will be tiny, because I know that 95% of those people will leave that event. And it goes for any event, any retreat, any mastermind that you go on. 95% of people leave those events with a book full of notes. They'll put the book down on the table, gathers dust, life happens, business starts again. You think, oh yeah, during that thing I went to 6 months ago, and the story goes on. And I know that so many of you will get it. And I just think that today, talking about how we get just 5 steps that I've got to really think about today, if you like. I know that if next week, so today I'm filming this on the 10th of October, I know that if next week I actually ran my week like a focused business owner who's clear on what I'm going to get done by Friday, who's clear when I'm going to get done it, and I'm not going to let anybody or anything take me from that, distract me from it. I'm going to be strong enough to put DND on my phone. I'm going to be strong enough to tell everybody that the next 2 hours you do not contact me, that I don't go and just sneakily check my email because it's a nice dopamine hit of distraction and getting things done. If we can actually start to nail that, oh my God, so many people would make bigger steps forward. They would actually start to get out of the cycle that most of us are in, of living the same week over and over, the busy weeks, but not actually making the progress. And so part 2 for me starts with, so part 1 is where we've kind of like, for me, like this is one of the biggest problems business owners face. Lots of us are so capable. We have such good ideas. We can start something out of nothing, but it's then actually having the focus, which is the next step to getting out of a certain place that you get to, which is, well, I've got a business, but I'm just going through the motions. So just some steps to get what I call a focus framework. And the big thing is most business owners try to do this on their own. I would advocate to have an assistant, to have somebody that helps you, that somebody keeps you accountable, somebody that isn't your friend, but is actually, Steve, this is the plan this week. Nigel, this is what we're doing. This is what you need to get done by Friday. But here's what I would recommend. So number one is blocking focus time in your calendar. Really simple, said it a million times, but I know there'll be lots of people listening to this who have heard it a million times and still don't do it. So people, I am talking to you. And that's just you and the work that moves your business forward. So you put the DND on your phone, you put the sign outside your office door, don't disturb me. You tell people the next 2 hours, I'm not contactable, not even for an urgent client complaint. Like none of these things, nobody is going to die, I would think, in 99% of the businesses that are listening to this. And it's dead simple to get focus time, but I know it's not easy. So that's why I'm repeating it again, because so many of you will just not be doing it. And that frustrates me because I know the impact it can have. Number two is about knowing what you're using that focus time for. It's all very well putting the time in the diary. That is indeed step one. But it's also pretty frustrating as a business owner when you get to the focus time, you're like, well, I actually don't know what's important to do now. That is also not a good feeling, because then you start to get kind of, you revert to busy mode, and then you're like, well, I'll just reconcile some stuff in the accounts. I'll just check the bank. And the story goes on. So knowing what that focus time is for, because focus is pointless without direction. So what are your current business goals? And what are your projects or habits that will actually move the needle? Because that's what we need to use this focus time on. And honestly, like this podcast, I won't have enough time in this particular episode to go, well, what are the projects? What are the goals? But any business owner listening to this must have either a revenue goal, and maybe that's about getting more clients. Maybe it's about keeping the clients you've got and client retention. Maybe it's about getting reviews to attract more business owners. Maybe it's about doing what I've done today and saying prolific beats perfect and setting up my iPhone to record a podcast and having the video so that I can put it on YouTube. Maybe it's about writing the top 10 processes that you do in your business that currently you're the bottleneck and you really need to get off to somebody else, and though you hate to do it, just getting those 10 done in a couple of hours next Monday would be a massive unblock to your time. And so on a Friday, well, actually at any time in the week, having whatever your goals and priorities are, and this episode is not about that, but next week, having your time planned in and making a list of 3 or 4 things to go, do you know, if I completed that, if I finished that, if I sent that email out to my list, if I went to that networking event and followed up actually with all the people that you'd met, those things would move the needle. And have a list that you can refer to of things to do inside that focus time. Number 3, and I feel like most business owners do this, is treating your calendar like it's a client's calendar. So if you booked a meeting with a client, you wouldn't just not turn up. I mean, if you did, there would be a crazy reason for you not turning up. I can't think of many people that would just do that, but we do it to ourselves all of the time. We don't treat our own time in the same way that we would with a client or even a team member in their one-to-one. I know so many people that will put focus time in or recurring events, and they'll just go, oh, well, I'm going to do something else instead. Oh, this is more important. You must treat your calendar like it belongs to a VIP client. And this is also why an assistant is so helpful, because they're going to make sure the stuff that gets put in your calendar gets done. It's like another thing lifted off your shoulders. Most entrepreneurs struggle because they're alone in this. If it's just you, it's really easy to say, oh, well, I don't really need to do that today. I'll do it next Friday. I'll do it the Friday after. It's really easy because most of us don't answer to anyone. Yeah, okay, we might have a coach or a mentor or a mastermind group we're in, and we might speak to them every 2 weeks, month, 8 weeks. But we don't really answer to anyone. And that is a blessing and also a curse. And so having someone that isn't your friend, is there to make sure you make things happen, can be one of the biggest unlocks, I think, in a business owner's life. So someone to ask you, did you do the thing today? It feels uncomfortable, doesn't it? It feels uncomfortable just saying it, but not many of us want to go, oh no, I didn't do it. But if you know it's coming, we want to have a satisfaction even of going, yeah, I did it. Is that in your diary? Are we on track? Do I need to make time for this? It's not micromanagement I'm talking about here. It's high performance support from ultimately an executive assistant, the kind of thing here we do at my PA with our clients, like what's important, what's the goals, when are we making it happen? You said you were doing it today. That kind of coaching and accountability is really priceless in most entrepreneurs' lives, because we're all creative, energetic, quick starts. We start a lot and finish a little. And that's where having somebody backing you to also take whatever the thing is, to take the kind of, there'll be a lot of parts of like projects or tasks or things that somebody else can carry, and they can take that, but then keep you accountable on the bit that you need to do. One thing that really helps me keep focused, and I learned this from, here's my third guy that I mention in nearly every episode, is Brendan Burchard. Amazing man. Honestly, I've learned so much from him. I listen to him nearly every day. I'm a member of his Growth Day app. Really, really recommend. Anyway, stop recommending. I learned from him a really simple thing called Friday Finishes. And it's really simple. At the weekend, on a Monday, there are 3 to 5 things that I say, these are going to get done by Friday. Brendan calls them his Friday Finishes. And I try to keep Fridays meeting free, client free, team free. Fridays is very much a day for Emma to be creative, to move projects forwards. I'm recording this episode on a Friday to get things done. And I have a section in my board, Asana board, like a Kanban Trello board, Friday Finishes. And in that are the 3, I'm just trying to keep it to 3 things. 3 things I'm definitely going to do by the end of Friday. And they're not all big projects. Sometimes it is following up with someone, like an opportunity that I will definitely ring them on Friday, like how's things going? Should we pick that up? Sometimes it's this, get that solo episode done, because when I'm doing an interview, dead easy. I'm asking all the questions. When I'm doing a solo one, feels a bit more hard. So often I need that accountability more to get these solo episodes done. And it's just me, and Emma needs to deliver value. So I'll keep banging the table. Anyhow, prolific beats perfect. And so at the start of each week, I write down 3 to 5 key things that must be done on a Friday. And I will find that, what time is it now? It's 5 to 3 and I'm doing this. So I haven't done this at the start of the day. I've done it towards the end of the day. But it really helps me keep accountable. Yes, most things I'm getting done at 5 o'clock on a Friday. I'm still like, it's not like, oh, Emma did them at 7 a.m. and the rest of the day was free. Yeah, like deadlines make things happen. And so, yeah, I'm scrabbling around a lot of the time late on a Friday afternoon to make sure I get them done. Yes, but I get them done. And the congruency with myself of Emma said she was going to get it done and does get it done is completely priceless, because that's the building blocks of momentum and confidence in your business. So here's my challenge. Like, look at next week's calendar. Have you got focus time booked in? Have you got a little list of things that you can go to, the things that you're going to spend your time on? Have you got someone that can keep you accountable or can even help you get that time accountable, get the things that are in? If not, drop me a line. We can chat about that. And where is the time for you, for your goals, for the things you wanted to make happen, not just your obligations? Because if it's not in your diary, believe me, I just don't know anybody that's actually making it happen. And just to pick up on the assistant piece, a lot of people think about an assistant as a doer, and the last thing we need in life, for me, I believe, is another doer. Lots of us have got people on Upwork, in the Philippines, in the team, in the UK. We've got them everywhere. And what we need, we've got a lot of people waiting on our next instruction. They need processes. They do stuff. And what I believe is the unlock for most entrepreneurs is to have somebody by their side, an extension of them, a second brain, to go, come on, what is the plan? Where are we going? What are we doing? What's your goals for this month? I'm going to make sure you get them, make them happen. I'm going to make sure the things that are blocking your mind, I'm going to make them happen. I'm going to make sure that the time's planned in. I'm going to make sure if you didn't do it, we're going to understand why. And I'm going to help you with the bit that's blocking you from doing it. And so a proper assistant doesn't wait to be told. They're driving you. Even if you don't feel like having this call, I'm booking in 10 minutes with you to move things forward. And for me, I have someone in my life, Bex, who's like, that's not in line with the goal. Where's the focus time this week? You said this mattered. Is it in the diary? What's happening? You know, it's nearly the end of the month and we haven't spent any time on X. It's support with accountability, focus and teeth. It's someone who protects your time, your clarity and your goals, even when you forget to, which for me, like, God, there's a lot of stuff in my head, but do I forget to focus on what matters? Absolutely, I do. And that is what we do at MyPA. You know, our support is about providing executive assistance. And for us, it's very much about that by the side of the business owner. And whether it's MyPA, whether it's an assistant you've already got, whether it's someone you know in your business that can do it, whether it's whoever it might be, I just think getting that person in your life to really work with you, to have a sidekick, a second brain, is absolutely, well, as Nigel would say, if you don't have an assistant, you are one. I think it just sums it up. So when you're in reactive mode, you lose energy, you lose opportunities, and you lose time you'll never get back. And so I just want this episode to be a reminder of what is actually happening. If just one of you now checked your diary for next week and you went, do you know what, Emma, you're totally right. There isn't the time locked in. I don't know what's meaningful. And I haven't got stuff that actually I'm definitely going to get done by Friday. My Friday finishes. So I want you to, if you're still with me, I want you to, at the end of this episode, do a couple of things. Block one real focus time in your calendar next week. Promise me, drop me a message to tell me when it is and I will keep you accountable. Block the time and know that you're going to put your phone on do not disturb. You're going to shut your emails. You're only going to work on the one thing, whether it's even just scripts and a little video that you're going to record and put on socials because you haven't shown up there for a million years and people want to see your face. You're going to choose one project, a piece of work that moves the needle. You're going to protect it like it's the most important appointment of your life. And you're going to pick a couple of things that are your Friday finishes and commit to them. Commit to get them done by next Friday. And if you are tired of trying to do all this alone, hit me up for a chat, because even if it's not us, I can give you advice and my team can give you advice on how you can do this better. Because as Nigel so rightly pointed out on the first day of his event, is that the difference in results between distracted entrepreneurs and focused entrepreneurs, well, it's quite frankly never been wider. And this week, you get to decide which one you want to be.